Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show the real beginners how to use the layer panel. How to use your layers and how to use these extra functions that you have in your layer panel. So without further ado guys, let us get into this video. Welcome back guys. Now first of all, I want to show the real beginners that layers are very handy because in layers you can then, how do I explain it? Layers are actually just different, then you put your items in different layers, so to say. And when you put your items in different layers, you can then decide which items you want to freeze, which one you want to make invisible, which one you want to take off in different viewports, etc., etc. So I will show you. So in this example, you can see this is a floor plan. And in this floor plan, all the lines and all the geometry is drawn in the layer 0, which is your default layer within AutoCAD. So the layer 0 is your default layer, and this does not have any main properties or any specific properties, just have the default properties that comes with AutoCAD. So I have made these layers already, and these layers you can make them by pressing your layer property, and right here you can press new layer. So when you press a new layer, you can then give it a name, and that's about, oh yeah, and then a color. Of course, you can choose what line type you want your layer to be in, the line width, and these other stuff you can choose right here. So this one is named layer. This one is just I made, and I will delete this one because I already made my layers. So I will press delete layer, and here we have that. We just close this off right here. So that is how you make a new layer. We just go on your layer properties and then make a new layer. So after you have made your layers, then you can then choose a different stuff that you want in a specific layer. Like these piping right here, my pipe work, of course I would like to put that in one layer that I can just take off all my piping at once. So without having to delete anything from my drawing, I could just exclude it or freeze them or make them invisible so that they will not be visible in my drawing while I work on something else. Because as you can see, this drawing is quite busy. So that is why you have layers, so that you can then freeze some while you work on other stuff. And then you can then unfreeze them to make them visible again. So here I have selected all my plumbing. Let's see if I've selected everything. This one right here. This one also, this one, and this one right here. So here I have selected all my plumbing. Let's see, have I done everything correctly? Oh no, this one right here is still to go. And yeah, that's basically all my plumbing. So then the plumbing I will have to then put under the layer plumbing. As you can see, the lines and all my blocks have taken over the same color as the layer you will select. So here you can see a preview. It is pink or magenta because I've selected or hover over the roof, but I want it to be in plumbing. That is why I have done gray. So to make this job easier, what you can do is then go ahead and freeze the layer plumbing. That way, whatever is under the layer plumbing will disappear, so that we can have less stuff on our drawing to work with. So now let us then select our fixed furniture. So like your toilets, your face basins in your bathroom, Well, my face basin in my bathroom, my toilets. I have 3 bathrooms. Let's see this one right here. And let's select this one right here also. These are my glass walls. So this is kind of under the fixed furniture category. So now that I have selected all my fixed furnitures, and then you just go in your layer drop down menu, and then you just set it under fixed furnitures. I also have a video that I will link above how I made all these layers one by one, so you can check that out if you want a more in detail video how to make your layers. So now that I have selected all my fixed furnitures, I want to go ahead and also take off that layer by freezing it. And then we have, let's see, what would I choose next? My foundation. So here we have my foundation, and the foundation I want to set, of course, under the layer foundation. You can also freeze these layers by just selecting the item that you want that has that layer, and then just go here and press freeze the layer of the selected object. So we just freeze that layer. Select the layer, and then it's frozen. Done. So now let's go ahead and fix our loose furnitures, like these right here. Those are just loose furnitures. Also handy if we set them under a specific layer, because then I can freeze my layer of loose furnitures. Now let's go back and choose loose furnitures, and let us also freeze that layer. So just by clicking freeze and then clicking the layer, it will freeze that layer. Now let us go on. We are nearly done, guys. As you can see, most of the stuff already is frozen. Let's see, just this was supposed to be under the layer foundation. Yes. Now we have our doors and our windows. Those are the layer openings. Let's select these. Doors and windows, these closet doors. Let's see these also right here, and this right here. I think I have them all. Now you can select the layer openings, and also we're gonna freeze that layer. So now we have nearly everything categorized. Now we have these lines here. This is my electrical components, a couple of wiring to make it clear to the electrician of what he has to do. So now these are quite a bit, so this may take a while, but at least in my drawing may take a while. Let's set these so far in my electrical plan, in my electrical layer, and let's continue with the rest. Let's see. We're nearly there, guys. And these right here. Now let us put these components on the layer electrical. What is this right here? These are just a couple loose lines, so let's delete that. Now that all my electrical, I think, is frozen, let's go ahead and freeze that. Like here we got loose line, so let's freeze that also. Yes, I want to freeze it. Now the staircase, I'm not really sure which layer should I put this one under, but let us just put it under the layer of, let's let's see. It's not really interior walls. Let's just put it under the layer fixed furnitures. I know maybe some people won't agree, but I'm just doing that for now. Now these right here are my outside walls, just like this one right here. And let's see, this one right here. Those are my outside walls. So let's just bring this down till right here. Okay, so these are my outside walls, and yeah, basically these are my outside walls, and this right here also. So these are also my exterior walls, and last but not least, my interior walls. So my interior walls. So there we have it, guys. So now we have successfully sorted all our lines and all of our components, blocks, and everything. All the information is under a layer, all sorted off very good. So now let us just unfreeze all of those layers that we froze a while ago. No, not this one. This one was already frozen. So now we have again our flow plan with everything on it. So now you can see that it's still kind of busy, but at least now we have some color here, so we can easily see what is our furnitures because they are red. Our fixed furnitures, they are also red. Our openings, we can see where our doors are very quickly. Our plumbing, our electrical. So it makes things very easy to look at, much more easier to look at when you're using your layers. Now, after you have then put a layer in each and every or an item in each and every category, now here I will show you what these other stuff means right here. So let's see the first one, off, turns off the layer of the selected object. So basically like freeze, you can also turn off a layer of something. So if you press this button right here, it will ask you to select an object with that specific layer you want to turn off. As you see, it turned it off. Now this layer right here, we have isolate, the hides and locks all the layers except those of selected object. Now what it will do, it will leave on that specific layer you are selecting, like this one, and then press space to make it active. As you can see, it only left on the layer that you have selected. So this does the opposite of turning off the layer you select. Instead of turning off the layer you select, now it turns off all other layers except the one you have selected. The freeze one, we have just used it, and this one also locks the layers that you select. The lock function is so that when you are drawing something, you don't move a line by mistake or delete anything by mistake. So that is why the lock is very handy sometimes. Let's unlock it. Let's see, let's unlock it. That is right here. Now we're going to select that layer to unlock it. Make current is just to the selected layer to make it current. So if I make, let's say, the loose furniture current, so you see it makes it current right here. So then I can go ahead and draw a couple lines and it will be under the layer loose furniture. As you can see in my properties, loose furniture. That is the point of this button right here. You can also just select it by just selecting it right here, and it will also make it current instead of having to press that button. So these couple buttons right here is just an extra to what you can do already in this drop down menu. Now here we have the opposite of the ones on top. Like this one is to make all layers on. So turn on all layers that you have turned off. This one is to unisolate the layers. So it will restore all the layers that are isolated. Let's say I isolated this layer, enter, and then this button will just undo everything you have just done. Right here we have throw all layers. So throw all layers in your drawing. So what does? All layers that were previously frozen are unfrozen. So basically, again, the opposite of what this one does right here. So if I freeze this layer and press this button right here, it will unfreeze all the layers again. Let's see, this was not supposed to be unfrozen. And as you know, the unlock button is to unlock the selected layer. So not all the layers, but just a selected one. Now match properties, that's very handy. Match properties, it will match the properties of that specific layer. So let's say I draw this line right here and I want to set this layer as, let's say, detail. And I will copy paste it down below to show you an example of what will happen. Here we have, let's see, which one should I use? The grid line. And I zoom in a bit. So as you can see, this one is gray and it is also dashed. This one is yellow and it has and it's not dashed, it is continuous. Also, let's see the width of the line. If I put on my width right here at the bottom, let's see, they are both the same width. So let me select a different layer so that you can see what I mean exactly. Yeah, let's go right here. So now as you can see, this one is much thicker than this one. Now what the match property does, it will match all the properties of the selected layer you select first or the selected object and match those layers, that layer property to the second object you have selected. So right here, if I clicked match layer, so you select this one and then paste it right here. Oh no, sorry. You have to select one first and then press space bar or enter. And then it will ask you to select the second. So here, as you can see, it matched the properties of beam. Let's see. So it does actually, I didn't explain it correctly. Let's go back. So match layers. Now it says select an object that you want to match the layers to. So I want to match my layers to this. Sorry guys, wait a minute. Let me plug in my laptop. Yeah, there we go. So now if you, first it will actually select an object. So this object will inherit the layers of this object. So as you can see now, this object has taken over this layer from the properties from this layer. So that is how you can mix and match layers. Let's say if you wanted, well, this couch right here, I wanted to put under the layer openings. So that is how that works. And when you're drawing a lot of stuff, it will come in handy sometimes. So now let's continue. On the drop down menu right here, we have a couple of other stuff. Unsaved layers, we don't have any unsaved layers. Mostly it does save automatically. So now we have previous. What it does, it undoes the last change of the set changes made to layer settings. So whatever changes you have made to the settings in the layer, so meaning in your layer properties, it will undo the last settings if you decided you want it back to be the way it was. Now here we have to change the current layer, changes the layer property selected object to the current layer. So let's select an object, press enter, and as you can see, it turned this object into the layer hatch because this was a current layer. So now if we set it back to foundation and select this again and then put it back to the layer foundation. Basically, you can do this by just selecting the object and just selecting the other one. But, well, I guess Autodesk saw the need to make this extra button. But does the same thing as I just showed you by using these. I think it was this one, make current, or this one right here, but just selecting the layer and then activating it. You can also change your layers from your object by going into your properties. So right here we have the layer foundation, and just by pressing the drop down menu you can also select a different layer without having to use these buttons right here. But I will still show you what it does. Copy objects to a new layer. So what this does is it copies the object plus it sets it in a new layer. So now let us do this. Select the object to copy, press space to next. So select the, what does it say? Select an object of destination layer. Select object on destination layer. Let's see. So as you can see, it has turned this copied object into the layer foundation. So there are 3 steps. You select first the object you want to copy, then you select the layer that you want the new item to be under, and then you just click the location of the new selected object or copied object. Let's do this one more time. Select the object, space, select the new layer, and then the location. Enter. As you can see now, it has turned this, put this under the layer external wall. So that is how you use that button right there. It may come in handy. Now here we have display objects on selected layers and hide objects on all other layers. So basically isolate more or less. So display objects on a selected layer. Let's just do this so you can see what it does. So let's see. Select the object. Enter. So it is in the layer openings, and what it does, it throws all my other stuff that are in a different layer. My plumbing, loose furnitures, here you can just choose. So basically, as I said before, it just isolates. Now let us see this one right here. Viewport freeze all viewports except current layer. So what this does is viewport freeze. Well, I will show you that just now in a bit. Let us continue with the next one. And this one merges 2 selected layers into a target layer, removing the previous layers from the drawing. So what this does, it will merge 2 layers and then also purge the layers. So let me show you how this is done. Let's see, which layer should I purge? Let's purge the layer foundation. No, let's purge the layer detail and construction line. So let us draw 2 lines and then put this one under the layer detail, this one under the layer construction line. As you can see now, detail, construction line. Now let us see what this one right here. So merge is select the layers into a target layer, removing the previous layers. So first of all, you have to select the layers to merge. This one and this one. These 2 layers I want to remove from my drawing and merge it into a different layer. So press space. Now it is asking to select my target layer. Well, I want to turn these 2 lines into the layer loose furniture. Now it will ask you if you want to continue, yes or not, if you are sure basically. Then you type Y for yes and press enter. So what it did right now, it turned these 2 lines into the layer loose furniture. What I asked it to do, that was my target layer. And what it also did was it deleted my construction line layer and also my detail layer, and it purged it out of my drawing. So It cleaned those layers out of my drawing. That is handy when you have so much layers in your drawing and you just want to clean up your drawing a bit. So certain layers you won't use again. So what it did, in every item that had the layer detail and construction line, it merged it into the layer of loose furnitures, and it also purged the layer detail and construction line. So it does three things. It puts the items of the objects you have selected into the target layer. Secondly, it deletes the old layers you have selected or the old layers which the objects was under, and it purges them. Purge means not only delete the layer, but it also cleans it out of your drawing permanently. So that layer won't be in your drawing anymore. And you can see this by just pressing the drop down menu, and you can see it is gone from your list. So that is how that works. And then we have, last but not least, deletes all objects on the layer and purges the layer. So basically, here we have a layer. Well, let's see, which layer are we gonna use next to purge? Now we have the layer beams. And in the layer beams, we're gonna purge that layer out of my drawing. As you can see, it deleted, first of all, it deleted the item that was under that layer. So meaning all the items, not only these, but just, as you can see, look, I've selected only one item, but it deleted also the other items or objects that were under that same layer. And not only that, it also purged that layer. So if we press enter, it will say, or space, sorry, enter is actually space in AutoCAD. And then we press yes for we want to agree with the changes. And then let's go into my list. As you can see here, we have no more layer beam. So in the first option was to merge the two layers into the new layer and delete them and purge them. And then this one right here, it deletes the objects itself also, plus purge the layer out of your drawing. So these will be handy, believe me, when you have a drawing full of so much unnecessary layers, especially if you receive a drawing from someone and they have ridiculous amount of layers and you just want to clean up the drawing, that you have this compact list of layers and not a bunch of layers of 200, 300 layers basically. It takes a lot of time, but believe me, it will help. Now right here we have lock layers fading, and yeah, basically here you can choose the fade that you want, that the layers are locked. So when a layer is locked, let's lock this one so you can see what I mean. You see it fades. So here you can choose then the fading. So here we can bring it down more, or actually put it less, so less fading or more fading. Here we can bring it up more, so it fades more. So you can choose here the setting of your fade, how faded away it will be when a layer is locked. So let us undo that. Okay. And that was it for that. Now I will show you now the viewport freeze all viewports except the current layer. So now here we have a couple of drawings or paper space drawings, and this is the next reason why layers is very important. So now we have this drawing. I don't have anything filled in this drawing, but this is my floor plan drawing, and in my floor plan drawing I do not want to have any electrical nor my plumbing. Nor my foundation either. I just want to see my floor plan, like something I will show to the customer. The customer is not the electrician, and the customer is not a plumber. The customer is not a construction worker. They just want to see how the layout will be of the house that they are building. So then what you can do is just enter in this viewport and just go into this button right here. So now you select which objects or layer objects you want to freeze in this specific viewport. Now I've selected that one. Has frozen all viewport but the current one. No, undo. Actually, it's the other way around. So in this electrical one, let's start with this one. So this electrical layer will be frozen in all other viewports except for this viewport we are currently in. So okay. And let's see. That is what it does already. So now if we go to our plumbing, why is it not working properly? Freezes selected layers in all viewports except the current viewport. Yes, that is exactly what I wanted it to do. So let's go again one more time. Yes, this layer right here. So select an object in a layer to be isolated in a viewport. Yes, this one right here I want to select. Has been frozen in all viewports, and then press enter and then exit. And that's so strange because all viewports are still active. Now I will look into that right now, but I will look into that later on. Guys, I'm doing things out of my knowledge, so this is not things that I practiced from before, so I'm sorry for that. I just showing you what I know. And this one obviously doesn't work properly, and why not? I don't really know why. So the other way to do this by using this drop down menu right here. So you have this right here is to turn off the layer. This one is to freeze the layer. And this one right here is to turn off that specific layer in this viewport alone. So which drawing do we have right now? We have the drawing floor plan active right now. So then you double click into your viewport. Then you go on your drop down list and you want to freeze your electrical. You want to freeze your plumbing. Where is my plumbing? And my foundation. So now if we exit that viewport, here we can see that my drawing is only showing me my floor plan without all the extra stuff. So now let us go into this one right here. And this one is my plumbing plan. So now I do want to see my plumbing. I do not want to see my foundation, nor my fixed furnitures. No, sorry, my fixed furnitures I do want to see. My loose furnitures I do not want to see. Neither my electrical plan, my electrical fixtures. So now we have this one right here. As you can see, I can see very neatly what is my toilets and all these stuff that is important. And the loose furniture, so my bed and those kind of stuff, is not important for my plumber. So now we go into my electrical plan now. And now we will freeze the foundation, my plumbing, my loose furnitures, of course, that is not important. And that was it. So now we have a next set of drawing. And now last but not least, we have a foundation plan. And here also, I just want to keep my, let's see, what do I want to keep? I want to keep my walls, my foundation. So the loose furnitures I want to remove, my electrical, my plumbing, my plumbing. Make sure you select these right here. So nothing else but this line of, and Let's see. What is important? What is not important for my foundation? Let me see. Actually, my interior walls are not that important for my foundation. Neither my fixed furnitures, neither my openings. So this is basically your, let's just put on my interior walls. Nope, it does not look correct. So this is the most important part of your foundation plan. Let us go into this drawing. I see that right here I have a loose line, and this right here is set under exterior walls, but it is dotted, it is hidden. Let's just put it by layer. Okay, so now as you can see, we have a foundation plan, my electrical plan, my plumbing plan, and my regular classic floor plan. So that is how you use layers basically. So you can see, even though my drawing here has everything in one, by using your freeze viewport, which is this third row right here, if you go in your layer properties, you can also see it. It is set to, first of all, of course, you have to go into a viewport to be able to see it on the list. So right here we can see which viewports of which layers are frozen in this specific viewport. Now this right here is let's see, I want to just make this bigger. Why it is not, well, another command is active. Oh, sorry, I have to exit that command, of course. Right here we can make this bigger, and this will freeze the new layer. So new viewport freeze. So that means whenever I make a new viewport, this layer is supposed to automatically be frozen. So if you selected this by formula right now and you made a new viewport, let's see, let's try it out. Let's say I want to freeze this one by default when I make a new viewport. So now if I go into my, let's see, view, and then where is my viewport again? Right here. So we make a new viewport. Let's bring this to the back or the back. Sorry, not one more time. Send to back. And make this viewport a little smaller so that we can see this one right here. It's kind of small, but you will see what I mean. So now as you can see, my foundation that is supposed to be the yellow one around this building or this house is supposed to be active because this is a new viewport. But because we have set it by default that this foundation will be frozen automatically in a new viewport, AutoCAD remembers that. So whenever you make a new viewport, it will be frozen. That is what that setting means. So if you don't want your viewports or your views or your layers to be frozen in every new viewport you make, you will make sure to have this never activate or frozen, meaning it should always be yellow. Matter of fact, I don't ever use this. Whenever I do want to freeze a layer in a viewport, I always do it manually because then I have more control of what is active and what is not, instead of just going ahead and do it everything automated because doing things automated sometimes makes you have more work, because then you have to search for what went wrong instead of just manually doing it and knowing what you're doing. I am just a pro for manually doing things, and whereas to automatically leaving things be done by AutoCAD or the program itself. So that was it, guys, for layers, the layers panel. I hope you learned something. It was very in detail. I have never done a video about layers or use all of these buttons myself. As I said, by just going down on the drop down menu, you can always freeze and turn off layers. These are very handy to know, but 90% of the time you're just gonna just select the object and just freeze the layer from right here, or make it invisible or lock it. Basically it does the same things as these right here. So guys, I hope to see you next time in my next video, and bye for now.